Yeah, it's that's tough. I feel so bad for Chris. I know he's had a couple of hand surgeries before, I believe. Maybe I think it was on the other hand, but yeah, I saw him holding it and instantly was worried, and so just got the word after walking off the floor. So I feel terrible for Chris, and obviously guys will step up and be ready to play, and we've got to hold down the fort without him.
Clay had two pretty large defensive plays kind of in that final minute. Just take me through that sequence and just how big it was.
I thought Clay was really good tonight, and you know, especially on a night when he didn't shoot it well. I just loved his approach, his energy, his defense down the stretch. As you said, Bogdanovich looked like he had an open three, and then Clay, you know, took away the three and you know, made a big play there, and that helped seal the game.
Steve, what do you think made this game so hard? Was it a hangover from last night, or what do you think made it so difficult for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of the guys it was a tough grind. First of all, Detroit has played well the last couple of weeks. You know, they took Boston to overtime last week, took Utah to overtime the other day. So they're playing way better than they were a couple weeks ago. And with the back-to-back coming off that brutal loss last night, that was emotionally draining. So this was a tough game, and I'm proud of the guys for grinding it out.
Surprised at all about the turnovers and the number of points you gave them off turnovers?
Yeah. The turnovers surprised me. We've been taking great care of the ball lately, but the fatigue, I think, played a role in that.
With CP out, does that? I know it's early, but usually Corey gets time when one of those guys isn't available, or could Brandon or someone else play some point, or have you started to think at all about how you deal with this?
Yeah. Both Brandon and Corey will play more at the point, and so probably brings Moses also back into the rotation, because you're replacing 30 minutes from Chris. So we won't replace all those minutes with one guy. We'll probably spread them out. But I'm excited to get Moses back out there. I thought he was great tonight. He brought a lot of energy. Great to hear the fans chanting his name. You know, he's a fan favorite for a reason. He plays hard, and being out of the loop the last few games has been tough on him, but he always stays ready. So I'm excited to get him back in there.
When you brought Chris back into the starting lineup, you talked about wanting to get Steph off the ball more, and then obviously with Draymond also out for however much longer, you lose another playmaker. So I guess it's kind of following up on that last question of just how difficult is it going to be to make up for like losing all of this playmaking, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. Chris is you know, an all-time great, and he's fit right in to our team, and made life so much easier on not only on Steph, but you know, he's really kind of captained that second unit, which has been a real strong suit for us this year. So, you know, we're going to miss him in both lineups.
Steve, J.K. was obviously frustrated with the way last night went. Responded tonight. He was a plus 16, gave you some solid minutes. How did you think he handled what happened last night and rebounded in this game?
I thought he played well tonight, and yeah, he's a young guy and he wants to play, and you know, I just told him everybody wants to play, and we've got you know, I just told him everybody wants to play, and we've got a lot of guys who can play. So every night's going to be a little different. You know, I think last night Wiggs finished the game. You know, tonight J.K. did, and I thought he did a really good job. You know, he moved the ball well. He guarded both Cunningham and Bogdanovich, and he played a good, solid game. Marcus, you look bored back there. You playing video games or?
No, I was looking at the transcription of these excellent quotes you did.
All right, fair enough. All right. right, see you guys.
Hi, Steph. Thanks for taking the time. Tonight, another clutch game for you guys. You come through with some clutch threes of your own. How good does it feel tonight to bounce back after last night's loss?
I mean, that's the only thing we can control. We all know how tough the game was last night. Jokic hitting that three. We tried to turn the page pretty quickly. A team like Detroit, obviously, we know what their record is, but they play hard. They're physical. They have some playmakers, and no matter how you get it done, it's always nice to, like you say, bounce back, and that's the nature of the NBA, being able to turn the page quickly and get a win.
Savannah, I'm fired up right now because I made a call, a special call for you last night, and it pulled up, and you guys pulled up today. How was the energy of the team after a back-to-back game and having really what I felt like was a must-win game tonight?
Yeah, God, listen, I appreciate you sending up some favors our way. I wanted to be so mad at you last night, but I had to laugh with it because that was pretty good. But it was nice, like I said, just to bring some good energy. Hopefully CP's all right. We've had some vets go down, but everybody stepped up. Moses coming in, hadn't played in however long, gives us great minutes. Corey Joseph comes in, hits a big three, plays great defense. Trace and continue to step up. JK, after what happened last night, being able to come out and just compete and bring his energy that he's been used to. So everything was needed tonight to get this win, and we got to back it up on Sunday.
Any other requests? Hit up your boy Festus, Steph.
What up, Steph? It's D. Wright, man. I got a question about the mental toughness that you put into this game. You didn't shoot the ball extremely well the first few quarters, but that fourth quarter, a big quarter, 2 big threes at the end of the game. What's the mindset when it's time to turn it on like that?
I mean, you know better than anybody. Shoot or shoot, right? It doesn't matter. You want to take good shots. You want to be aggressive. Feel the flow of the game. Take what the defense is giving you, but my goal is to never lose confidence, and my God-given ability to shoot the basketball. I don't care what's happened. Misses early in the game, the big picture of the season. Like, you just try to take the shots that you think you can make and play sound basketball, and thankfully they went in. So, shoot or shoot. We've been doing that for a long time.
I'm going to clip that for Devin. That was a setup. I'm sending that to Devin.
Steph, we just won, man. Give me some energy.
I'm pretty release the Kraken. We needed this.
Let's go, baby.
Yes, sir.
Steph, thank you for stopping by.
Appreciate y'all.
Congrats on the win. So some very unfortunate news for the Warriors as Chris Paul has a left fractured hand. He will have surgery next week. That happened tonight. We saw him leave the game tonight, and this is just another situation where you start to get settled into a good rhythm, and a big time injury to a key player happens. This is something that you suffered as well, and in a very similar fashion, and getting your hand caught in a jersey, Darrell.
I seen Chris Paul in that play. As soon as it happened, he looked right down at his hand because he knew. Because I think Chris Paul has dealt with this too before. So it's a tough blow for this team. You lose GP2 last game with a hamstring. These are 2 of your guys as guarding the point guards and kind of putting pressure on the basketball 94 feet. So this is going to be a big loss to the Warriors.
That's a big loss. Chris Paul is a 30-minute a game player. Yeah. So now you have to fill those holes in. I said before about when a guy is injured, the next guy has to step up. So for the Golden State Warriors, you look down at your bench. You see a guy like Corey Joseph. Moses Moody got some minutes at the end of the game. Brandon Pajemski has been a guy who's been closing for you. This is where it's important to have an incredible bench because really the season is a game of attrition. Basketball is a game of attrition. Who can make it to the end of the season playing their best basketball with the whole team? This is a chance for a guy like Corey Joseph to step up. He had 2 assists tonight in 8 minutes of play. A guy that can really fit in seamlessly because he's always getting his work in. I see him after the games all the time in the gym just getting ready for his moment. That's a veteran. He knows how to play. Moses Moody's a guy that the fans were cheering for to get in the game. I'm excited to see these guys come in and make their input on the game. But CP3 heal soon, heal well, and this Warriors team has just been dealing with new card after new card, and this is just another chapter for this Warriors team to show what they're made of.
It does seem, Darrell, that this season the Warriors have dealt with much more adversity than they have in the past. And they've had injuries to key players like Klay Thompson in the past, too. But it seems they can't catch a break this season. How do you deal with that mentally from the player's perspective?
I think a lot what Festus just mentioned is so important, that next man up mentality. I know how cliche that is, but that's the truth. It's the next guy up, a Corey Joseph, somebody somebody that's had a lot of experience in this league, played for winning teams. So he's going to know how to understand, to run a team, take care of the basketball, and get guys open shots.
Clay, thanks for joining us. Great win tonight, obviously on the back end of a back-to-back. Knowing that energy and wanting to come back after that loss was important. How did it feel to be out there tonight?
Well, it was not the easiest game considering the quick turnaround, but I'm glad we fought through and were resilient throughout, and we got the win. Obviously, Detroit doesn't have the best record, but it's still an NBA game, and they're still difficult to win, especially considering the circumstances with the deflating loss we took last night. So proud of everyone who came in and made a huge impact.
And I'm happy you brought that up because people do lose sight that this is still an NBA game. This matters. You guys just moved up a place in the play-in. When you think about the things that are very key to keep going into this season and keep progressing, what are you kind of focused on taking from this game going into the next one?
Just it's a 48-minute battle. I think the last two games we got comfortable being up double digits with 6-7 minutes left rather than being as aggressive as we were throughout. So come Sunday, we want to win these next two on the homestand. That would be a really nice way to end it. We got to just play as hard as we did in those first 35 minutes, and I know we will. Luckily for us, what was this, the 35th game of the season? So there's a lot of basketball left, and we're still gelling together, and we're still building chemistry, and I have, full belief in this team to do great things.
Now, you just talked about the first 35 minutes, but don't be so humble. You made some really great plays at the very end of that game. Talk me through those two defensive stops that really helped seal the deal for the Warriors.
Well, Bogdanovich is a great shooter, and I didn't want him to get an open look from three when we were up 4, so I tried to force him off the line and stuck with the play. And just like hitting a big three, feels great to get a block shot, and then Steph doing what he did. I mean, those two step-back threes he had were incredible. There's not many people in the league who can do that. He's one of very, very few, and he might be the only one, actually. So we're very grateful for Steph's ability to close games, and we're all there to help him out when needed.
Well, I appreciate you joining us tonight, Clay. Thank you. Good game.
Fun.
Chris Paul, we just heard, has a fractured left hand. How big of a blow is that for you guys?
I mean, it's tough, Chris is like really big part of the team. Obviously, his career is telling how good he is. It's gonna be tough, we just find out. We will need to kind of figure out, maybe play a little bit different, or I don't know. In this moment, it's just like a lot, So I hope he's gonna get better. It's just tough, we will need to figure out somehow. It's not like easy schedule coming for us, probably gonna have like a lot of games away. But we need to figure out, which coaches, gonna find out what's the best for us, how to play. So it's a huge loss, but, we need to look positively and, try to figure out without him.
How much does it make your job more difficult? I mean, you and Chris obviously work so well together, and he's helped you. I mean, you work.
Yeah.
That bond has clearly been.
Yeah, of course, he's like really kindly embraced me, my game, and tried, find me in every situation when I'm open and force me, to play down there, and I'm very thankful. And it's gonna be really, big loss for my game probably, but like, what we can do, we can just figure out. I hope he's gonna get better sooner than later, be part of the team, and it's gonna be tough, not just for me, for all guys, for the team, for the chemistry, but like, that's the NBA. You need to kind of like try to figure out without like important guys how to play. So, other guys gonna step up, other guys gonna have like bigger roles, and we try to figure out from there. It's gonna be tough, but that's basketball.
That it? Cool.
Yeah.
Trace, I'm sure that's got to feel good after what happened last night. I mean, how difficult was it for you yesterday after this game just to sort of get ready for this one and then,
Well, obviously, last night he had a tough shot at the end, but that's what's great about the NBA. You play 2 to 3 days max, and so being able to just come back out, rinse that from our bodies, get a win, a much-needed win that we needed to get back on track. It's great. It feels good, but we got to keep working.
Hi, Trace. Janie, nice to see you. We just found out that Chris Paul broke his left hand. I'm guessing you just found out as well. And just, he's meant so much to both units. How do you guys pick up the slack, and so to speak, until he's ready to go? And he's having surgery next week.
Yeah, I feel for him, but at the same time, it's next man up, and something that Chris never loses his voice. And so being on the bench, being able to talk to us, that's one of his biggest attributes, and that's something that he won't lose. He'll still be invested in the game, and I feel for him.
Trace, I'm sure you heard the crowd cheering for Moses when he got in the game, and just what do you think of that moment, and how much do you think that meant to him?
It's great for Moses. Every time he comes out there, he plays as hard as he can. But just him getting in, bringing energy for our team when we needed it, it was great, and hopefully we see more of it.
Trace, I'm sorry if you were asked this before, but you work with CP a lot, obviously. How difficult, what challenges does that present now with him out? Because you guys have relied on him so much to kind of spark and lead that second unit.
Yeah, with CP, he's such a big part of our team. But at the end of the day, it's always next man up mentality. And then what I was saying to them is his voice will still be there. He's one of the vocal leaders on our team, so that's something that we'll still rely on heavily as he goes through his rehab process.
Cool. Thank you. What do you think made you guys able to kind of close it out late tonight?
Stephen Curry.
How about Clay's defense?
Yeah, I think defensively, I think, when we needed stops under that 2-minute mark, we got it. But offensively, Steph did his thing, and we won.
Chris fractured his left hand. Steve says he's going to rely more on you, on Corey, Moses. I guess just you were in the starting lineup before. You guys have been shorthanded before, but this kind of just adds on to the list of missing guys. How much more does that make the team need from you and the other guards?
Yeah, I think everybody's just got to step it up a little bit. Gary and Chris are obviously out. Like you said, I was in the starting lineup, so I kind of know how to play with those guys that are going to be in there if I start or Corey starts or whoever he decides to start. I feel comfortable, and maybe I just need to be a little bit more maybe assertive and aggressive, and finding my teammates, but also finding areas for me to score. But it's going to take a collective effort, just like it did tonight. And Corey and Moses gave us a great lift in the third and fourth quarter, and I think it's really what kept us with the lead during that stretch.
How much different is it playing point guard or off the ball? I mean, whether or not you start or maybe you play more point when Steph sits, how does that sort of change the dynamic for you, which spot you play?
It doesn't. I'm a pretty simple guy. If I'm open, I'll shoot it. If I'm not, I pass it. I don't really try to look at the lineup and say, oh, well, this group I need to be this or this group I need to be that. I'm a basketball player. I just try to make the right play every time I have the ball or I don't have it.
Brandon, I'm sure you heard the crowd chanting for Moses tonight, and how much do you think that meant to him, and what do you think of the way he played tonight?
I think it meant a lot to all of us. These past couple games that he hasn't played, he's been, a professional about it. He's continued to, put in the work behind the scenes for when his opportunity was called, and tonight was that night. And although he didn't make a shot, his impact, both defensively and offensively was felt, and it was something that, I felt like we needed. I felt like our team was still kind of feeling that loss from last night, and him and Corey, who didn't play in the game last night, gave us a great energy boost off the bench.
You kind of mentioned it. Well, we're like the last 24 hours, like absorbing that loss and kind of getting this win.
Yeah, it stings. I think we'll even feel it even tomorrow during our off day that we should have got that one last night. But, everybody woke up this morning and we all got a chance to play basketball, which we all love to do. And, why not go out there and try to win? You know, dropping 2 in a row. Pistons were 3-31. That would look, you know, pretty bad for us, but we felt it. We're going to continue to feel it and just try to bounce back and, you know, keep the winning streak going.
Steph, we just found out that Chris Paul fractured his left hand. How much of a blow is that to you guys after what you've been going through?
I just feel bad for him. I know he's been through some hand stuff in his career, and you know, we're trying to find a groove as a team. You know, our chemistry, and continue to build that and work through some of the kinks in the lineups, and he's such a huge part of that and has been all season. So I don't know how long he'll be out, but I just feel for him personally because he does such an amazing job of taking care of his body, preparing himself, you know, day in, day out. Nobody sees the amount of hours he puts in, especially at this stage in his career, to be available. And a freak play like that to sideline him is tough. So we'll worry about the stuff with the team as it comes. But for him personally, I just, you know, hope he keeps his spirits up and can get through this as quick as possible.
Steph, besides the injuries, I mean, how much of it is going to help you guys with the younger guys who, you know, wanted more playing time, that they're now in a situation where they're going to be put to the test?
Everybody gets wrapped up in especially with us, and you know, there's a lot of narratives around our team and, you know, who's supposed to play and our depth and, you know, the amount of guys that you can argue should be in the rotation. It's just hard. You know, coach has a difficult job on that front. So, but if you look at any team in the NBA, injuries, when they pop up, you have to have that next man up mentality. So, you know, that's the challenge for us now. More combinations that we probably haven't seen, and we have to be able to take it in stride and execute and do what we need to do to try to stay competitive and win games. But everybody's going to have an opportunity, so got to stay ready.
Steve said that one of the reasons he put Chris in the starting lineup these past couple of games was to help try and get you off the ball a little bit more. Did you feel that helped? And I guess just how did it feel playing alongside Chris, and what are you going to miss about having him on the court there?
Yeah, I mean, he's such a cerebral player. He knows how to manage the game, getting us organized. And, you know, we had a stretch where we had tough starts. And this is all because Draymond's been out, and, you know, how different we look as a team trying to run our system. So CP's a great, you know, addition to that flow. I think, especially over the last 2 years or so, like I'm able to adjust to whatever's out there, and I know that's another challenge now, going back to a different starting lineup with CP out. So I got to be able to make the adjustments. Clay got to do the same for us to continue to be aggressive, get shots, unlock ourselves and the rest of the 5-man unit that's out there. So it's nothing new, and, you know, a different and the next challenge, you know, ahead.
Steph, you guys have been through so many different things over the years. Does this season feel like it's more unique in that sense, with the amount of injuries and drama and just a bunch of stuff?
Yeah. If you look at every year since, 2019, and, you know, the lost year we had with all the injuries we had, and the 2021 season where you're trying to reestablish your identity, and it was a very unique challenge with different faces, and, you know, losing the play-in, and then you win the championship, starting 18-2 and all that stuff, and then last year trying to, you know, back it up and all the things we had to deal with. This year's more of the same, different challenges, but a lot's gone into 35 games. So you got to stay fresh mentally, physically, not get exhausted or fatigued with all the things that you're trying to battle through while also trying to perform on the court. So we say it all the time. Every season you have different and unique challenges that if a team is trying to reach their full potential, you have to persevere through. This season's been a extreme case of that.
Conventional wisdom would think if you play like you did against Denver, Detroit would be an easy win, so to speak. Is it disappointing that you guys didn't put a similar performance out there, or is that just one of those games you knew off the bat would have to be a grind it out, fight through it?
It's a polar opposite game. It was a grind for 44 minutes, and then we had a great 4-minute stretch. Last night it was a great 44 minutes and then a trash 4-minute stretch, 6-minute stretch, whatever it was. So there are no easy wins in this league. I don't care if they only have 3 wins. Like, they play hard, they're physical. K made some big shots and kept applying pressure down the stretch, but you just want to win, and we're in that kind of situation as a team. Every win is important, no matter how you get it. So I'm glad we could turn the page quick from last night.
Steph, you talk about Chris as a cerebral player and sort of getting you organized. In what other ways will you miss him in the sense of sort of the presence he has and the leadership and he's one of the few players who's been in the league longer than you have, and he carries a certain cachet when he's out there. How do you sort of articulate the challenge of replacing that?
It's going to be tough because between me, CP, Draymond, Loon, the guys that talk the most and try to provide as much wisdom, up and down the bench as possible. He's definitely, we're talking at halftime, talking at timeouts, talking on the court. That's how you try to build chemistry, but also, to your point, him giving us and giving everybody on the team something motivational, inspirational, or some look that you see during the game that kind of get you going. So I guess in the short term, hopefully, he can be on the bench and be vocal, but other guys got to step up, and whether it makes you uncomfortable or not, talk and give you that presence that can hopefully fill his void.
Well, I guess piggybacking off his question, with 2 guards down now, how much involvement will you have as a leader for like Brandon and the other guys in speaking with them and encouraging them?
I do it all the time. Whether anybody sees it or not, doesn't matter. That's a consistent effort no matter what we're going through, no matter who's available, and whether it's out there on the court, in the locker room, on the phone, whatever it is. So more of the same, and just acknowledging what needs to happen with the different rotations and the different combinations that we'll have out there to try to execute and work through some of those challenges.
A story came out on The Athletic about Kuminga's frustration.
Oh, word?
Yeah, it was on theathletic.com.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What was it about?
Jonathan Kuminga's frustration, written by The Athletic. You've been a third-year player. You've been a player who sat some fourth quarters behind veterans. How much of you understand what he's talking about, and how much of you probably think maybe there's a different way to handle it, so to speak?
Everything you just said, like, I've been there before. He's not wrong in being upset and pissed off, wanting to play. Probably should have played. Not probably. But to your point, like, the ultimate challenge for anybody in this league is to not let the narrative be told for you, and you not be able to address that with your own voice or directly with coach or whatever the case is. So we all go through our challenges. We all go through our learning lessons. And like I said, he's not wrong for being upset and frustrated. I heard Coach talk about, he's kind of half joking but serious about 15 years. He was always upset about playing time, and that's a talking point in every locker room in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, the ways to express it, ways to voice your opinion but protect the team. And I'm just proud of the way we talked about it before the game, but you go out and play, go hoop, be a professional, and that's what he did tonight.
Cool.